Good morning everyone, and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity, and we are at Glorious Friday. I hope everyone is going to have an absolutely awesome weekend, and I am up again with KSCRAFT, and I shall indeed be up again with KSCRAFT again next week. Right, so a little bit confused today, so I'm just going with this. And we did use some of these yesterday. I'm going to use the Jolly one today, and we're going to do the cute little Christmas milkshake drink. Right, now I have already seen that done as a shaker many times, so I'm going to try and do it as just a clear glass. And I'm also going to be using some of my favourite, there they are, let's see how close we can get, my little mini rhombus multicolour sequins. I absolutely love them. Put my finger in there, you can see how tiny they are. Perfect for sprinkles, for donuts and cupcakes, and for Christmas milkshakes. Right, what have we got? I tried to be a little bit organised. Right, first of all, I've used a little piece of snowy acetate. Now if I tip that into the light, I hope you can see that I have die cut it. Now one of the things that always happens when you die cut in acetate is little bits can cling on, and sometimes if you look here it can even shatter. I don't know if you can see that. It actually cracked, but it didn't crack my design. So I've got a little bit hanging up in the air here, and all you have to do is gently put your scissors in and kind of push, and you don't really even have to cut, if you know what I mean. It's kind of like, it just, there you go, you kind of finding the line with something sharp and it just falls away. See that? I hope it's showing up well enough. Now you can get rid of anything that's in your way. I'm going to snip that off because that's just dangling in the way of my hand. And if you go up here, just, I'm not even cutting, I'm just doing this and it's just falling out. But it's better than just tearing it out, if you know what I mean, because you could end up tearing your acetate, like that bit, see that? So now if I can get that in my hand, we've got a nice little milkshake glass. Now it's transparent, which is what I want, but I'm trying to figure out the right way around. I think it's that way, but you want to be able to still see it. So what are we going to do? Right, we're going to get a nail file, and this is where, especially on a Friday morning, I could end up making an error. Now I hope that's sort of like clearer. So I'm going to get a nail file, and all I'm going to do is just sand it. I'm going to sand it at the bottom, because your glass is usually a lot cloudier at the base because it's thicker glass. So I'm just going over that a few times. Now let's have a look at that. See that now? It's a little bit cloudy, so that's more kind of visible. So let's do a little bit more. I'm being quiet. What are you all going to be up to this weekend? I'm very nosy, I want to know. Right, next thing I want to do is I want to put just a little bit of shading. So I'm just going gently up the edge. Imagine you're using a blender tool and you've got ink here instead of a clear piece of acetate and a nail file, and just try and get a little bit of shade. Right, let's have a look. I'm going to rub that. Now I've got to try and get it in the light so that you can see it. It's kind of become more visible. Maybe I'll do it a little bit more. Why not? I'm off out in my garden again this weekend. We've had a lovely lot of rain. And you can actually do this with any acetate piece. There, that's better. Now we've got a sort of like, you know, like a glass, because that's what we want. So we've got that bit, and I'm just going to shake my yuck into my bin here, because you can see just how much has filed off. I'm just going to pop that in the bin so that I can use this little scrap of paper again. Now then, now we're going to get into the rest of it. So we've got that, and I really do hope that that's visible now. You should be able to see the edge, and you should be able to see the base. So I'm popping that down. I'm moving my nail file out of the way just in case I pick it up for something that I shouldn't. And these are all the other bits that I have cut out. Right, this is from one set, which is the sentiments, and that's my jolly, and that's got to get glued onto there. Now in the milkshake set you get your little candy cane, you get peppermint swirls, which there are 2 here. So I've got 2 little candy peppermint swirls, and I cut an extra little background. Now the reason that I did that is because I'm going to use it in the head of my gingerbread. You can see I've cut 2, and that will fit behind there so that it becomes solid, and then the other one is going to glue onto the back. But before I do that, I need my mouth and my eyes, and to achieve that I'm going to divide this into by using black and red. So just grab whatever markers you've got and just do half of that circle in black and the other half in red, and then when you've done that you just hope and pray that you've done it to the right amount. Otherwise you might end up, you know, with red eyes, and you don't want that. Yeah, and I'm using this pen because it is running out, so it's good to get your last drop of whatever out of anything and then just throw the empty vessel in the bin. There. So we've half black and half red. Now I've got horrendous humidity because it's rained, but I can't complain because the garden needed it. And now let's just pop this on here just to see what we've got. There you go. That bit's got to go down a little bit more, but we've got a red mouth now and we've got little black eyes. So I'm going to turn that over, and we're going to need a little dot of glue. So put a little bit there, and we're going to pick this up, we're going to flip him over, and just make sure that you put your bit down in the right place and that it's hidden, just like that. So let's get a close-up. There you go. Got a little bit of glue on one of the eyes, but that should dry clear. So now you've got a very easy to do red mouth and black eyes. So now I'm going to turn it over again, and I'm going to apply some more glue because we want to stick the other bit on so that it's hidden. Now if you wanted to, you could do the reverse and then, you know, stick that on, but I don't think it's a mirror image, so I'm just pairing them up, and then I'm going to pick them up and make sure that they are fitting together nicely. There we are. We've got a nice little chunky gingerbread. And as I've got my little 1.5mm flat backs on the table, which are these, I'm going to add some little buttons to mine. So I've got 3 there, and I'm going to attempt to use this bottle. It was building up pressure because of the size, so let's have a look, see if it'll do it. I don't think it will. I'll just keep squeezing and a little block bit comes out, because I think the end of ooh, now I've got a big block bit that came out. Oh, that's better. Right, so I'm just going to tap down him. And he's going to have little buttons on him, bless him. I'm just checking that the microphone's on and I'm not talking to myself. Right, so I'm using my wax pickup tool, and we're just going to pop those on. It just gives an extra little bit of detail to what you're doing. You don't have to do it, but there he is with his little buttons, and I just think that's really sweet. I'm just lining those up a little bit better, so hopefully once I can adjust my camera, there we go, that glue's going to dry and he'll be alright. So that's the little gingerbread done. Right, next thing we need to do, I'm just going to flip that over, is we need to glue down the jolly and the candies. And of course we've got some little marshmallows. And then on my creamy frosty bit, we're going to put our balloons, our little mini rhombus ones. Right, so I'm going to go with this bottle again. It was coming out quite good. There, I think that will do it. And then you just need to flip that over and line it up. There we go, just like that. Flip it over, make sure it's even, and give it a press. Right, so that's our gingerbread and jolly done. We don't have to do anything to the straw because that's one whole piece. And I think what I'll actually do is I'll use this embellishment on another KSCRAFT item on Monday. Now I'm looking for my frosty cream because I want that to be drying. So I'm deciding where I want it. I'm just going to go, you know, wherever I want. So I'm just squiggling down all sorts of glue here, and as you can see, that's going to take a little while to dry. So I'm unscrewing the lid. Just put plenty on, enough so that you can press your projects without getting your fingers in the glue, so that they just make good contact. Because it's like glitter or embossing powder, you can just scoop them back into your pot when you're finished. Right, so those are my sprinkles. And I'm just moving that up. Put all your extras back in. You can turn it over and tap it. Just make sure any loose ones are not on there. Oh, look at that. Heavily encrusted with sugariness. So that's that. That's going to dry. And what I'll do is I'll let that one dry and I'll come right back. Right, the next thing I want to do is glue my candies and my little candy cane, and I'm going to put the marshmallows on last, so no fingernails again. And I've got those two, and I've got these, and all I'm going to do is just pop a little dot of glue in the center and on the tips of each one. I'm just flipping that over and trying to find the center. Maybe got a little too carried away with the glue there. And pop this one down. Just find the edge and then the rest of the edge should follow. Now if you want to put some glossy accents or something on these to make them shiny, you can certainly do that. Or if you want to give them more of a swirl effect by going around with a white paint pen, that'll give you a nice realistic kind of shadow too. So just rub that bit of glue off so that my candy cane doesn't get stuck. and I'm going to dot some of this on. I'll hold that there, and then we've got this little bit here. I don't want that sticking up in the air. Right. Now just line it up once again, and then before your glue dries, just slide it over. So now we've got our little candy cane, and that's all of the elements done. We just need to put it together. And one of the things, of course, that people will always say about a transparent embellishment is, how do you fasten it down? Right, well, you have to fasten it down using the elements behind it or on top of it. So let's have a look at that now. I'm just dusting this off to make sure there's no more of my filings left on it. So if I pop that down, hopefully you can see it. Yeah, just about, you can see the outline, but that's only because I sanded it. Now when you pop the straw in, whoops, let's have a look at this. That is going to give you an element to which you can attach it. So if we were to go as far down as we possibly can, remembering that your frosting is going on top, and you don't necessarily want to hide all of your straw. Whoops, excuse me 1 minute. Right, where was I? Yes indeed. Right, so it's about arranging things that you can fasten things down in different places. Now these are little marshmallows, but they could also be ice cubes, and if you pop them to the bottom of your glass, it becomes another place where you can fix your glass down. So what I would suggest for that is that we kind of go in this order, and that is to remove the cream, to remove the glass, to leave your straw in that angle, and to get a little bit of glue. And I'm hoping this one isn't all blocked. Right, I'm going to pop that there. I'm just going to cap it off again. I think I'm going to go back to using my little squeezy one. It's easier to get the lid on. Now we're going to utilise the bottom of the straw and turn these into ice cubes. So these all bundled together then become another point for gluing down to your project, and you'll see that on Monday. So now I'm going to come off these two, and I'm going to put this here. So my dogs are crying because they can see a squirrel outside. So now we've got another anchor point, and we can even cut more to make marshmallows to go at the top. But for now, these are just going to be ice cubes. Right, so if I bring my little glass over and make sure that they're sort of like, you know, fitted in, but that is off there, there's going to be a tiny little amount of glue that should attach that. Now that's going to take a couple of minutes to catch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that dry, and I'll come right back. Right, so that is still drying, but we're going to create another anchor point, which is the jolly. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue behind here, and this is going to go here. You still want to be able to see your ice cubes, but we're just going to pop that down, and then what you've got is another anchor point, which are these two bits here, so that you can fasten that down to your project. And then I'm going to go for my little gingerbread man, kind of standing off here, I think. So his little foot, his arm and his head. And I think those will be the points that will tie that to there. Now I will move him out slightly so that I can see my jolly. There we go. So he's kind of hanging on there to the edge of that glass, and now I do have to let that dry, and I'll be right back. Right, so I went off and I grabbed a little piece of black cardstock because I'm hoping that's going to show it up a lot better. So the next thing I need to do is to pop the cream on. So we just need to decide where about on the glass that's going to go. And you still, as I said, you want to be able to see your straw because it's got that lovely embossed detail there of the ridges in the edge of your straw, and I think that's going to be about right for me. So I'm just going to get some more glue. Now because I'm gluing to plastic, it takes a little bit longer for the glue to go off. So here we go with this. I'm going to go about there, so that I can still see that lovely curve on my straw. Might move it down just slightly. And you will of course have quite a little bit of wiggle room because you're on plastic. I've got some on my paper there and I don't want to glue it down to that. And while I'm here I can glue my peppermints on, so I'm just going to dot one there, and I'm also going to put one here. Now it might be that over the weekends I'll go away and I'll cut a few more. And actually while I am here I will pop some glue onto my candy cane, I think about there. And I'm going to pop that. I'm just going to tilt it really gently. I want to see that coming out of the glass there, and then I'm going to give that a press. Right, I'm going to let that dry and I'll be right back. Right, so I've got it on a piece of black cardstock so that you can see it, hopefully. I'm going to go in as close as I possibly can. There we go. And you can see, as I said, sanding the edge of the acetate will show it up a lot better. And all of those little pieces now become anchor points for fixing it down so that you don't have to put any glue or any foam tape onto the clear area. So if I flip that over, as I said, we're going to use this on Monday. Some of that glue is still wet, but I can now put foam pads here. I can put glue here, I can put glue there, I can put a foam pad there, I can put foam or glue into these areas, and it's all going to hold it down. So when you make something clear and you don't want the glue to be showing through, there's a stray little sequin, just create a lot of different anchor points. And that is what I have for you today. Ooh. And I do apologise, getting really dark outside. That was my husband on the phone saying the wind had really picked up, and where he's working the streets are flooded, so I hope he's going to get home for his dinner. But isn't that lovely? Right, have an absolutely awesome weekend, and I'll be back on Monday with more from KSCRAFT. As usual, all links below. Bye.